Very good morning, sir. So, first of all, I would like to extend a hearty welcome on behalf of College Dunya. Thank you so much for sparing your valuable time for the Thoughts on Education initiative.
Yes, thank you, Jobin.
Sir, you have held key positions at education institutes throughout your professional career.
Yeah.
So, what are the
Yeah.
key factors that keep you connected with the education sector in particular?
See, education is a very vast sector. That is the first thing. And the key factors that have been kept me in this particular education sector is that I have been into academics for last 25 years. That is the first thing. Second thing, I came into this particular profession as a choice and not as a force, by force. So that passion and compassion I had whenever I joined this particular academic section or education section. Thereafter, by completing my graduation, PG as well as PhD, I was enjoying my lectures and my sessions with the students in such a way that I got myself upgraded every year with every session. And secondly, in this education system, there is always need for a good leadership, for a good conversation, for a good communication between student, parents, alumni, and stakeholders. And that particular has been maintained by me for the last more than 25 years. And one of the important thing is that I have been associated with majority of the committees which are being related to Pune University or university activities as well as state government activities. So I play a very important and vital role in having some reforms in education. And that particularly gives me a very, very important aspect between education as well as industry, and what is the need of industry is always being catered by the education. So in that way, always I keep with in touch with the education, my students, my parents, my alumni, as well as the industry which caters these students.
Right, sir. So, being the principal of KJ College, what is your philosophy of leadership? How would you describe your leadership style?
Actually, there is nothing a kind of leader as such, because whenever you are leading a group, always there should be one way or one point of communication, how to go and how to go with. And that is a leader, because see, many a times there is always a differentiate between a boss and a leader. Boss is always a person who always gives some orders, and leader is a person who always works with the people, along the people, and he always tries to communicate with the people, tries to solve their difficulties, tries to involve in them. And whenever a work is being assigned to any of the employee or any of your subordinate, you should know what kind of work it is. You should have worked on it. You should know what is the probable answer. You should know what are the probable ways of doing that particular work and to get the work done. Only getting the work done, giving the orders is not a leader. Leader is a person who gets the work done with the people by having a very, very good communication. HR is very, very important in this. Man management is very, very important in this. And the most important thing what I found into my leadership is that I know which person or who can do a better work for a specific assignment. Suppose I have a specific assignment, then I have few people in my mind, and I can see by giving the work to person A or person B, I can get maximum output. That is the first thing, that is to get the work done. And second is that the person should be interested in that particular work, because if he is involved, he is particularly devoted to that particular work, then the chances of success or the success rate of that work is 100%. And that is the only thing that we can do out of the leadership. And that is the only thing how you can, give a good signal to your subordinates.
Right, sir. So, as a principal of KJ College, how do you strategize about the key programs and plans for the marketing and the administration of your institute?
See, the strategies about the key program and plans for the marketing and administration. This is one of the important aspect about any educational institute, because whenever you plan to market your institute, then definitely you have to show what different things you have, what different programs you run here as a KJ Institute. So whenever I see my institute, rather I want to see my institute in the market, at that time specifically I have to encash, or I have to project my key things which are being done here as an academic program, as an overall holistic development of the students. For example, if you take my institute, KJ College of Engineering and Management Research, then I would say that from 2016 onwards, continuously we have university topper from 2016 to 2020. From 2016, starting from Miss Priya Ahirwar, she was first in the university out of 120 colleges and out of 1 lakh 50,000 students. Again in 2017, Prakash Gowde, who was again our university topper. And this year also, Sunny Kale, he has scored 9.84 SGPA in mechanical engineering in last year, and probably he must be topper in first three or first five. He should be in the university or SPPU list. So this is one of the key factor which I should project as a marketing, or not as a marketing, but as a building brand of my institute in the market. Because apart from a very good and reputed and having colleges of having more than 30 to 35 of years age, we are having not more than 10 years of age in the market, but still we have academic toppers in university, and that is nothing but that is very much creditable for our college. So that is the first thing of academics. Secondly, the placement record of our college or of our institute is very, very consistent. Specifically in mechanical and in electrical, we have placed more than 80% of the students. Out of 400 students, we are able to place more than 200 plus students in the market, because some students are interested in post-graduation, so they don't want placement. Some students are interested in entrepreneurship, so they don't want placement. So placement ratio is also good. Third important thing is that we have COEP, that is College of Engineering Pune, Government College of Engineering Pune, COEP is our mentor. We are the mentee institute of COEP. So all the facilities, all the laboratories, staff sharing, internet, everything has been shared by COEP. So the syllabus which is followed by COEP in their autonomy is adopted by us. Majority of the faculty exchange program we have, FD fees we have student development programs. So that is one of the key factor of our institute. And other so many things are there. I cannot tell each and everything, but the holistic development of the students using this academics, not only academics, we have co-curricular activities, we have NSS, we have cycle rallies, which is nothing but a social activity. We have cultural activities. So many other activities are being associated with the college or with the institute. By seeing that, not only the focus is gathered or catered only on academics, but holistic development of the student is always seen.
Right, sir. Wonderful. So, how does the curriculum of KJ Institute ensure the best practice of the industry? And in other words, how do you get your students industry ready?
See, there are many aspects, because once an educational institute is exerting their syllabus, because we are an affiliating college, it is binding. 1 minute. As an affiliating college, we are being affiliated, or we have to follow the curriculum which is being given by the university. We cannot frame our own curriculum. That is our major difficulty. So the curriculum which is finalized by Savitribai Phule Pune University is 100% imposed on us. That is the first thing. But whenever we see as an industry, we have to cater the gap between this academics and this industry. Because if we teach the students, if we discharge our curriculum in engineering institutes or our institute, but what industry needs is very, very important. Because if we teach something which is not being practiced in the industry, if we teach something which is not being correlated with the industry, it will be very, very difficult for the student to get the jobs. So first thing is to see what is the need of industry. And I'm happy to tell you that apart from curriculum, our curriculum is advanced curriculum. Every year the curriculum is taken care by the university, and they invite industry people also at university and decide the curriculum. So our curriculum right now is at per the industry, and we see to it that whatever the things are being required at industry is being taught in the institute. That is the first thing. Second thing is that whenever the companies like multinational companies they approach to any institute for their placement, then specifically they want to see the aptitude of the student, they want to see the English or grammar of the student, they want to see how the student can cater in the industry, or how he is or she is capable as a human resource, or how as a human being he or she is. So all these things are being tested. So first two things are being taken care by the institute very well, 1.5 year in advance at their B level. So at third year, first semester, so 3 semester early, we start their aptitude training, and this is run at our institute. We see the number of students at third year, we categorize them according to their branches, and as per the companies which are being shortlisted, means specifically say IT companies which always ask for computer, IT and electronics and telecommunication students. So specifically we train them in aptitude, keeping in front particularly those companies. And what we plan is that we give them aptitude training. Right now also in the month of July and August, we have given 110 hours of aptitude training, which includes their communication skill, their logical reasoning skill, their aptitude skill. So everything training has been given to these students of 110 hours in TE itself. And then secondly, what we do is that once the aptitude training has been given, because this is the first examination where the students are being scrutinized, or they are being channelized, right? And second thing is that to have a feel of having hands-on in the industry, we plan specific programs department wise, so that the student can go to the industry and they can get some internship out of those skills. For example, we have planned a program like Skill Partner. And what we have done for specific branches, say for mechanical branch, what we have done, we have identified 2 to 5 sectors. So one sector is automobile industry, second sector is the production industry, third is the CAD/CAM industry, fourth is the mechatronics industry. And accordingly, what we do, we group the students and we ask the industry experts to have some lectures on that particular module or topic, and then they send some animations. Those animations are actual animations of the industry which is working, and after that we give more than 2 weeks of training to the students in the industry, so that the students will get the actual feel of the machines, actual feel of the corporates, actual feel of the industry where they are going to work. And like this, we have prepared the modules for various departments, that is mechanical, electrical, civil, computer and ENTC. And we train the students using this internship. This is the second program. And third is that we call industrial experts at our college, and specifically we give or we keep workshops and hands-on on a specific area of the industry or a branch. Suppose a student want to make his career in automobile. So we approach automobile people, we call them, we have some seminar sessions, say for 20 students or 50 students likewise, and then we have hands-on to them, and then specific a credit has been given to those students. So this is regarding the preparation of industry, but still we are calling industry at our institute to get solve their problems as well. Only the placement or job orientation is not a question, or that is not a fulfillment. We need some industry problems that our students can solve. We need some industrial projects that our students can come and our students can go and do. Third, we can have industrial visits. Then for next, we can have some faculty development program at the industry. Then last, we can have some different kind of recruitment from that particular industry. and then we can have some research-based projects also with those industry. So industry compatibility of academics is always required. Unless and until these things are compatible, reversible, and transparent, the number of placements or the placement number will not increase, and that is must for every institute.
Right, sir. So, what is
Yeah.
your opinion on the new education policy of 2020, and how do you think it will benefit students to become corporate ready?
This see, first thing is that after so many years, this education policy has been, it is being changed right now. We cannot say it is being changed. We can say it has been modified. See, earlier there used to be the conventional education or traditional education used to be there, and at that time, it was very much important. Means it was felt very much important that people should be literate. That was the only motto, or that was the only concept which was required. Then came conventional education. Conventional education may have given different streams like arts, science, commerce, likewise, right? BSc or science or allied fields, right? And then came professional education. Professional education makes a different style, its own style, which is directly related to the industry and which is directly related to the technical things which are being involved out of it. So engineering, MBA, pharmacy, architecture, polytechnic, these are nothing but the technical fields. So whenever we are thinking such kind of policy, this kind of policy, which is new education policy, my perception is that this particular policy is being specifically designed for all the students from their childhood, from their primary, secondary, higher, and professional education will be definitely benefited. Three important things I could make out from this policy. Number one is that the students will feel this kind of education, if designed properly, they will feel like a fun to learn, or they will feel like this is a what you can say, anxiety, or what are the things are in between, and I want to curiosity, I want to learn it. That kind of passion can be created in this style of education. That is the first thing. Second thing is if designed properly, then definitely it can help higher education to grow. That number is very, very less right now. And third important thing about this policy is that if we see professional education point of view, then definitely the other sectors of professional education which are being included in this particular policy are 100% towards the industry, and 100% it will be seen that this policy will suffice the industrial needs, and it will lead the technical education to a very different and higher altitudes.
Right, sir. So, what are some of the biggest challenges that you see, both for the higher education sector in general and for KJ Institute specifically?
Challenges are a lot many challenges are there. Because see, in general, in education, whenever we try to cultivate the students, the major challenge that comes before us is to educate the students in all fields, in all respects. Because see, a very simple example I'll tell you. Whenever suppose a subject or an examination is prepared, at that time the syllabus is given, the books are available in the market, so the student can see the syllabus, they can read the books and give the examination. What is the use of teacher and what is the use of the institute? Now my answer towards this is that teacher is a person who enlightens in the minds of the student about the things which are being taught in the books or in the syllabus. And second thing is that after reading the books among the syllabus, the student or the teacher is a person who tells to the students in a very, very simple way by tackling or by having day-to-day examples. So that becomes education, or that becomes particular subject very, very easy, comfortable, and fun to learn. Just now I have mentioned, because students should not feel it boresome. students should not say that, "Arey, what are we studying? We are getting bored. This is the theoretical subject. This is the very mathematical subject." So that particular thing, that particular what we can say subject knowledge has to be acquired by the student in a specific way through a teacher and an institute. And this is the biggest challenge, I'll tell you, in educational institute right now, because the students are distracted by one or the other thing. Cell phone is one of the major thing, media is the other thing, and Western culture which is being developed in India, specifically in Maharashtra and Pune, we can see the students are very much distracted. They want everything at their fingertips. They don't want to read the books. If you ask a single concept, then what they will do is that they will try to find it on Google. But they will never try to read a book and get the concept understood. So this particular thing, this particular intention, attitude and altitude, both are to be imbibed in the minds of students. And this is one of the biggest challenge, because if we face this particular challenge and if we are 100% successful in imbibing these particular things in the minds of the students, then I think other challenges like placement, like having some entrepreneurship, let's say going abroad for PG, getting some good scholarship, having some other type of industry, having some tenders, having some research proposals. So these things are, I think, not that much of important. Once the thing has been imbibed in the minds of the students, once a passion is being created in the minds of students, then I don't think that there is a day we should reach that every education, every institute will perform, every teacher will try his level best, her level best, and every student will get 100% knowledge that will cater to the industry.
Right, sir. So, could you share with us some of the plans that you're currently designing or will be designing in your future for KJ Institute's international affairs or international students?
Right now, see, I'll tell you the ratio. Suppose I have 500 students at my last year, that is at B level, then approximately 5 to 10% of the students, they are always interested in having in collaboration with some international universities and higher studies. So specifically what we do is that in the month of July only, we start coordinating with various universities, and we usually have, means we do plans to send students at various universities, as well as we plan to have some international delegates at our institute also. 2 or 3 international conferences already we have conducted at our institute. International conference is nothing but a program which is run by having a theme in engineering branches, and there we we invite international delegates. That is delegates from UK universities, Texas universities, Cambridge universities, so many other in Michigan universities. So many other universities are there in UK, US, Canada, as well as Singapore. And these university professors having high profile, as well as the core subject knowledge of the engineering domain that we have selected for that conference, they come here, they deliver their speech, they give their seminar, they give their hands-on, and all the students, those are willing to attend those particular seminars, or the staff member, those who are willing to attend, they can definitely attend those conferences. So that is the first collaboration. Second is, we tie up with the universities as I have told, in the month of July only every year. And last year, I'm happy to tell you that 18 students of our last year, they have been selected to various universities of US, UK and Aalborg, that is Denmark. So in these 3 universities, 18 students, that is 5 from mechanical, 6 from electrical, 3 from computers, and 4 from electronics and telecommunication. So total 18 number of students were selected for PG program in these universities. But unfortunately, due to COVID, they were not able to retain this year. But this year, definitely, we are trying.
Wonderful, sir. So, before we wind up this interview, sir, are there any suggestions or any pieces of advice that you would like to give to the students, aspiring youth?
Yeah. See, always I do deliver speeches to the students as well as professionals. I always used to tell three things to the students, because catering this particular today's youth, what I can see and what we want actually from this youth. Three things I would like to tell to the students. First thing is, they should always look everything about everything. Whenever they look about, they should always have a positive attitude towards everything, because majority of the students, what I have seen is that they don't have positive attitude. They try to avoid it, they don't want to do it. So always they should have a positive attitude amongst them. That is the first thing which I want to see in every student, which I wish to see. Second thing is, they should be hardworking, because this is the major quality which is being missing among the youths right now. They are not hardworking because they want everything at their ease. So hardworking should be the second thing that they should learn. And third and very important thing that they should have, that they should have a consistency in their work. Because if I suppose decide that I should go for a swimming from tomorrow, then what I will do, I'll go for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, and after 6th day I will stop. So consistency is very, very important. And if they want to really achieve some good things, whatever may be the field, whatever they have decided, if they want to achieve a good things in their life, then definitely, if they are having positive attitude, if they have hard work, and third is the consistency, definitely I know that they will be successful. And one of the important beauty of our Indian constituency or our Indian population is that out of the total population, 65% of the population lie in the age group of 20 to 25. So 65% youth we have. An entire responsibility of this particular big country lies on this particular youth. So they should be motivated. They should have some good things in their mind. They should enlighten the candle of knowledge every time. They should have positive attitude. They should work hard, and they should have a consistency in their work. I think success is theirs.
Wonderful, sir. So once again, thank you so much for sparing your valuable time for the Thoughts on Education initiative. I am sure that the thoughts you have shared today on this platform will be deeply insightful and motivational to students past, present, and future. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you.